Welcome back, everybody. Derrick Sue, your East Oakland advocate. Well, yesterday was a very sad day in the sense that we lost one of the greatest players in baseball, Ricky Henderson. He was the top base stealer in my when I used to go to the games, and he made the game exciting. And he was part of a group of guys that came in early, I should say. In fact, he was drafted early here as an Oakland resident. He was it's still in high school in 1976. In fact, the 70s were an incredible period for athletics here in the city of Oakland, because there were a lot of incredible athletes that came out of the Oakland public school system. Uh, some that I came up with in 1978. I was classmates from 1975 up through 1978 with a couple of people that were big names in the NFL and in Major League Baseball. First one I want to talk about was a personal friend, Lloyd Mosby. Some of you may not know that name. Some of you may know that name. In fact, Lloyd, I didn't know Lloyd as well as his girlfriend and a future wife who ended up being his wife, which was Adrienne Brown. Adrienne Brown was in many of my classes. And when he was given that offer, or made an offer by expansion team back then, the Toronto Blue Jays picked him up, and they paid him a $10,000 signing bonus. Imagine a high school kid signing a multi-year baseball contract with an expansion Major League Baseball team. Lloyd was one of the hottest players in the OAL back then, and he was a center fielder. So he was picked up by Toronto Blue Jays as an expansion team. He was paid $10,000 signing bonus, and Toronto Blue Jays also paid his tuition to college from the time he graduated Oakland High in 1978 up until 1980. And Lloyd was getting his business degree. In the meantime, his wife, Adrienne, because they stayed in the Bay Area mostly, and Adrienne actually was a teller at Bank of America. She worked in the commercial banking services, and I was a assistant manager for Grand Auto back then. So that's how Adrienne and I stayed in contact up until she left for Toronto in late '79. So that's my personal experience with a big league baseball person that came right out of Oakland High School. And then we had another major pro sports person by the name of Ken McAllister. We always knew him by Kenny. And he was a big guy. He loved basketball, baseball, football, but he ended up in football predominantly. And he was a big dude, Kenny McAllister. And he was OAL. He was a lineman. He ended up playing for Seattle Seahawks and the San Francisco 49ers and Kansas City Chiefs. So he did have a stint in the NFL pro leagues for a significant period. But also that period during the 70s was Ricky Henderson. Ricky Henderson came out of that. Also, some other players, but those are the ones that really stick in my mind, and that I had personal knowledge with. And then years later, after I became a stepdad, my stepson, he liked basketball from time to time, but the big name in the city of Alameda, where I lived, was Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd was, he packed the, anytime there was a game in Alameda with Jason Kidd, the courts, the arena at home, the high schools were packed with this because Jason Kidd came to town, and he ended up in the NBA, played with a number of teams. The last one that I remember was Dallas Mavericks. So Jason retired. He's back here living in the Bay Area, as did a lot of our sports figures. And in fact, I even had an opportunity to experience through my stepson. My stepson was a premier swimmer. In fact, he was during his high school years from 1996 up until 2000. He was City of Alameda's premier swimmer, and the ninth overall swimmer for the USOC. Yes, United States Olympic Committee. He was the ninth strongest swimmer, and he was being looked at to go to Sydney, Australia in the 2000 Sydney, Australia Games. But in his final year, while they were really looking at him, he blew his opportunity. So it was really sad, but it was also very exciting when he was being scouted. The people that would show up to watch him swim, the people that even came to our door in Alameda to talk with us about his future and swimming in the Sydney Olympics and what would be needed. So we also had a coach for him. So it wasn't a cheap proposition by any means, but his times were that of the top swimmer, Tom Dolan, at the time. And the two were very similar in build and size, and the only thing really different was the size of their flippers, their feet. That was the only big difference. But my stepson had gotten taller. He at this time was now 6'10", whereas Tom Dolan was, I believe, 6'8". So pretty close in size. And our swimming coach was saying, this kid has no idea how good he is. And the USOC said the same thing. They were looking at his times and everything. And I was, back in my day, when I went to Oakland High School, I swam on the Oakland High School swim team. And so that's where I picked up a lot of swimming tips and tricks that really helped my stepson with his swimming and his short career in swimming. And he would always seem to be the last one off the starting blocks. But when he came up to the surface for his first breath of air, he would be leading by at least a length, maybe even 2 lengths in front of the next closest person. So he knew what to do. He knew how to take that lead and keep that lead through a lot of the experience that I gained in the short time that I was swimming at Oakland High. So there's a lot of things that came out of Oakland at the time. There was incredible bands that were coming out. Grateful Dead, Journey were two that I can think of. And then Huey Lewis and the News a number of years later. So there were a lot of great things that came out of the Bay Area. But one of the things that Ricky Henderson did say about the A's leaving Oakland, that he predicted that Oakland will never see another Major League Baseball team at its doorsteps ever again. So I believe Ricky Henderson to be 100% correct, because he said that after having spoken with Major League Baseball commissioners and Major League Baseball. So the thought of Major League Baseball ever coming back to Oakland again, I agree with Ricky Henderson. It's never going to happen. Thanks for joining me today. We'll be right back.